Have you ever had someone so close to you that they knew all your secrets, all your fears, all your dreams, and then watched them use that intimate knowledge to destroy you? Right now, millions of people are experiencing the most devastating form of betrayal possible. Betrayal by someone they trusted completely. Scientists have discovered that betrayal by a close friend activates the same pain centers in our brain as physical torture. But here's what's even more shocking. This exact scenario was documented over 3,000 years ago in such vivid detail that modern psychologists use it to understand the anatomy of intimate betrayal. King David wrote Psalm 55 in the aftermath of the most personal attack he ever endured, and his description of the psychological damage is so accurate that therapists still reference it today. In the next few minutes, you're going to discover why friendship betrayal is considered the deepest wound humans can inflict on each other, how David's response reveals the only path to genuine healing, and most importantly, how recognizing these patterns can protect you from the kind of devastation that destroys people from the inside out. Welcome to another deep dive into biblical psychology and advanced English learning. Today we're tackling Psalm 55. And I need to warn you, this is one of the most emotionally intense chapters in the entire Bible. But here's what makes it absolutely invaluable for English learners. It contains some of the most sophisticated emotional vocabulary in the English language. David uses metaphors, imagery, and sentence structures that show you exactly how native speakers express betrayal, anxiety, fear, and ultimately, the decision to trust again. If you want to understand how English speakers communicate about complex emotions and difficult relationships, you've just discovered a masterpiece. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like button, because what you're about to learn will transform not only your English skills, but also your understanding of human nature and the healing process. Psalm 55 opens with David in complete emotional breakdown. Listen to my prayer, O God. Do not ignore my plea. Hear me and answer me. Notice the escalation. Listen, then do not ignore, then hear me and answer me. This isn't just repetition, it's desperation building. The word plea is more intense than prayer. A plea is what you make when you're running out of options. In English, we see this pattern when someone says, "Please help me, don't walk away, I'm begging you to listen." David is showing us how to express urgent emotional need using increasingly intense vocabulary. The phrase, "do not ignore my plea," is particularly powerful because it reveals David's fear that even God might not respond to this level of pain. The next verse reveals the physical symptoms of psychological trauma. My thoughts trouble me, and I am distraught because of what my enemy is saying, because of the threats of the wicked. They bring down suffering on me and assail me in their anger. The word distraught is clinical level emotional vocabulary. It means beyond upset, beyond worried, completely overwhelmed by distress. Assail is a military term meaning to attack violently and repeatedly. David is describing what we now call psychological warfare, sustained, deliberate attacks designed to destroy someone's mental stability. For English learners, this shows how to express different levels of emotional distress using precise vocabulary. Then David describes his physical response. My heart is in anguish within me. The terrors of death assail me. Fear and trembling have beset me. Horror has overwhelmed me. Notice the progression. Anguish, terrors, fear, trembling, horror. Each word is stronger than the last. Beset means to be surrounded or attacked from all sides, like being trapped in a circle of enemies. Overwhelmed suggests being completely covered, like drowning in an ocean of fear. This vocabulary teaches English learners how to express anxiety and panic attacks using vivid, physical language. David isn't just saying I'm scared, he's giving us a medical description of severe trauma response. Here comes one of the most famous passages in Psalm 55, and it's pure poetry. I said, oh, that I had the wings of a dove. I would fly away and be at rest. I would flee far away and stay in the desert. I would hurry to my place of shelter, far from the tempest and storm. The metaphor of dove wings is brilliant because doves represent peace and innocence. David isn't wishing for eagle wings power or hawk wings aggression. He wants dove wings to escape to gentleness and safety. The repetition of I would creates what English teachers call conditional mood, expressing hypothetical desires. This shows English learners how to express wishes and dreams using advanced sentence structures. The imagery of tempest and storm is crucial because it suggests David's troubles aren't just human conflicts. They feel like natural disasters, uncontrollable forces of destruction. When we're facing betrayal, it often feels exactly like being caught in a storm, chaotic, dangerous, and completely beyond our control. David's desire to flee far away and stay in the desert reflects the universal human impulse to escape civilization when civilization has hurt us too deeply. The desert represents simplicity, solitude, and safety from human complexity. Now David shifts to analyzing his enemies. Confuse the wicked, O Lord, confound their words. For I see violence and strife in the city. The verbs confuse and confound are sophisticated. English vocabulary meaning to create chaos in someone's thinking and communication. David isn't asking God to hurt his enemies physically. He's asking for their plans to fall apart, for their communication to break down, for their schemes to backfire. This teaches us about advanced English vocabulary for describing different types of justice and intervention. David continues with urban imagery. Day and night they prowl about on its walls. Malice and abuse are within it. Destructive forces are at work in the city. Threats and lies never leave its streets. The verb prowl suggests predatory behavior, like animals hunting for prey. The personification of malice and abuse as living entities within the city is advanced English technique. David is describing a completely corrupted environment where evil has become institutionalized, where deception is so common it never leaves the streets. This vocabulary is perfect for English learners who want to describe social problems and institutional corruption. Then comes the devastating revelation that transforms everything. If an enemy were insulting me, I could endure it. If a foe were rising against me, I could hide. But it is you, a man like myself, my companion, my close friend, who is doing this. The structure if I could, if I could, but it is you creates maximum emotional impact. David is explaining why this betrayal is infinitely worse than enemy attack. Enemies are expected to hurt you, but friends are supposed to protect you. The phrases, a man like myself, my companion, my close friend, build intimacy. This wasn't just someone David knew. This was someone David considered equal, trusted completely. David elaborates on their relationship, who used to enjoy sweet fellowship with me. As we walked about among the worshippers, the phrase sweet fellowship suggests not just friendship, but spiritual connection, shared values, deep conversations about meaningful things. Walked about among the worshippers indicates they prayed together, attended religious services together, shared their deepest beliefs. This makes the betrayal even more devastating because it violates not just personal trust, but sacred trust. In English, use followed by past activities creates poignant nostalgia. It emphasizes what was lost. The pain of intimate betrayal reaches its peak in verse 21. His talk is smooth as butter, yet war is in his heart. His words are more soothing than oil, yet they are drawn swords. This is some of the most sophisticated metaphorical language in the Bible. Smooth as butter and soothing than oil. Describe how deceptive people use gentle, comforting language to hide malicious intentions. Drawn swords means weapons ready for battle. The contrast between smooth, soothing, and war, swords shows the complete disconnect between this person's public persona and private intentions. This teaches English learners advanced techniques for describing deception and hidden motives. David's advice in verse 22 has become one of the most quoted passages in Christian literature. Cast your cares on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. The verb cast means to throw forcefully, not gently place, but hurl your troubles at God like you're throwing away something heavy and burdensome. Sustain means to hold up, support, keep going like architectural beams, sustaining a building. The promise, never let the righteous be shaken, uses shaken to mean destabilized, knocked off course, or fundamentally damaged. The Psalm's conclusion reveals David's ultimate decision. But as for me, I trust in you. After all the anguish, all the analysis of betrayal, all the desire to escape, David makes a conscious choice to trust again. Not trust in humans, he's learned that lesson, but trust in the ultimate source of reliability. The phrase, as for me, is emphatic in English, meaning regardless of what others do, this is my choice. This shows advanced English learners how to express personal determination in contrast to others' behavior. What makes Psalm 55 psychologically profound is how accurately it describes the stages of processing intimate betrayal. First comes shock and disbelief, then physical symptoms of trauma, then the desire to escape. Then anger and desire for justice, then analysis of what went wrong, and finally the decision to trust carefully again. Modern therapy follows this exact progression, and therapists often recommend this psalm to clients dealing with friendship betrayal because it validates every stage of the healing process. The English vocabulary in Psalm 55 is particularly valuable because it covers the complete spectrum of emotional expression from desperate pleading to philosophical analysis to determined resolution. David uses concrete imagery, dove wings, tempest, drawn swords to express abstract emotions, which is advanced English technique. He demonstrates how to escalate emotional intensity through vocabulary choices, how to express hypothetical desires, and how to contrast appearance with reality. For English learners, this psalm is a masterclass in emotional vocabulary and complex sentence structures. Notice how David uses parallel construction: if an enemy, if a foe, but it is you. Conditional statements, oh, that I had, and metaphorical language throughout. These are sophisticated tools that native speakers use instinctively, and studying them in Psalm 55 will dramatically improve your ability to express complex emotions in English. The betrayal David describes is unfortunately universal. In every culture, in every generation, people experience the devastation of being attacked by someone they trusted completely. What makes David's response revolutionary is that he doesn't let the betrayal destroy his capacity for trust altogether. He learns to discriminate, to distinguish between reliable and unreliable sources of support. This is emotional maturity at its highest level. Modern psychology confirms David's insight that intimate betrayal is uniquely damaging because it violates our deepest assumptions about safety and trust. When strangers hurt us, our worldview remains intact. We expect strangers to be potentially dangerous, but when close friends betray us, it shakes our fundamental beliefs about human nature and our ability to judge character. David's psalm validates this experience while pointing toward healing. The healing path David outlines is crucial. Acknowledge the pain completely. Express it honestly. Analyze what happened. Recognize the difference between reliable and unreliable people, and make conscious choices about trust based on evidence rather than emotion. This isn't about becoming cynical or closed off. It's about becoming wise and discerning while remaining open to authentic connection. What's remarkable about Psalm 55 is how it transforms suffering into wisdom. David doesn't just survive his betrayal, he creates a roadmap that has helped millions of people navigate similar experiences. His willingness to be vulnerable about his pain, his detailed analysis of deceptive behavior, and his ultimate decision to trust carefully again provide a complete framework for healing from intimate betrayal. The psalm also teaches us about the difference between loneliness and solitude. David's desire for dove wings represents the healthy need for solitude when we've been wounded. Time to process, heal, and regain perspective. This isn't escapism, it's self-care. Sometimes the healthiest response to toxic relationships is temporary. Withdrawal while we rebuild our emotional strength and discernment. Finally, Psalm 55 demonstrates that recovery from betrayal isn't about forgetting what happened or pretending it didn't matter. Recovery is about learning to cast your cares on reliable sources, developing better discernment about character, and choosing trust based on wisdom rather than hope. David's example shows us that it's possible to maintain an open heart while developing a wise mind, and that combination is what protects us from future devastation while allowing us to experience authentic connection again.